Today we're going to talk about troubleshooting. I don't get paid for this. I'm not doing it for money, so I'm just doing it. You pay for what you get, and you get what you pay for. So I bought this battery February of 2014. It's in my tractor, and it's never let me down. It just works. There's a lot of batteries you can get for your car. I'm not saying you have to get one of these. I'm just trying to illustrate that my 6-year-old battery still works great. So today we're going to talk about troubleshooting. I had some problems getting this car to spark. It was a no spark situation. So the first thing you want to check is your battery. Make sure that it has a good charge and that it's connected. So I'm just going to go over the process. Maybe help you out when it's your turn. So I got a test light. Got the key on. Run position. So we should have power to both sides of the coil. Check. Check. That covers your power situation to the coil. We should have voltage. Alright, so you should be able to read what you got. So we're 12 and 12. So far so good. The next thing you're going to want to check for is resistance. To check resistance, you have to take everything off. And then you can check resistance on both poles and then in the center. I'm going to show you how to read resistance on the coil. It has to be disconnected. I would have filmed this while I was doing it, but there was a lot of cussing involved. So we've got it set to ohms. We just read across the poles. Right? Your application may vary, but this is on a good Morelli coil. And then we're going to read into the coil itself. About a 10.5. So it doesn't matter which way you read it. You'll get the same reading. So the coil's good. Since we're here, I'll show you how to do the pickup. It's not hard. Plugs in right here on the side. Your application may vary, but it's only got 2 prongs. Doesn't matter which way you check it. There you go. About 792. Or you can check it the other way if you like. About 792. kind of hard to plug back in, but goes on one way because it has a big post and a small post, so you can't really put it in backwards. It's just finding it without using your eyeballs and getting it plugged back in. The next thing you want to check for is resistance on your condenser. These things go bad. I'll show you how to do that. Resistance is this little upside down horseshoe looking thing right there. This is a good capacitor. Capacitor, condenser, whatever you want to call it. Radio interference module. So I'm on the prongs right here, and then I ground it out and watch the meter. It trends up. This is the resistor that was, or the condenser that was on the car. Factory original, I guess. Check the plus, and then watch it just goes nuts. Trends down mostly, so it's opposite, so it's not working. So I went to the store and I bought another one. There's a whole slew of kinds that pop up. Basically, any one of them is going to work. The only difference is the way they mount. And then I also picked up a new ignition module. That's the thing that's behind the coil that your pickup plugs into. There's no way to really test this unless you have the little machine that they make for it. So reading it with your meter, you're not going to get any readings. So I placed the ignition module and the condenser, hooked it all up, bam, I got spark, everything fired up. You can check resistance on your pickup module. It's magnetic. You just unplug it and ohm it out. You should get a reading around 800, but don't quote me on that. It's just off the top of my head. So once you got everything back together, what I did was, the plugs were in, but they weren't installed. Turned it over, got spark, hooked everything up, and then the car started. Finally started. So there's still some other things to do. You can see I got coolant down there. Got to get the drip sealed up, and then we'll get back to tuning up the car and getting everything operating like it should. So check for voltage, check your readings, run resistance. Most likely it's your condenser. While you're replacing this, go ahead and replace the ignition module, and then everything should operate as normal. It's probably not your coil. It's probably this condenser right here. The pickup's good. This was reading wrong. That's why we replaced it. While we're at it, we went ahead and replaced the module because you can't read those. And there's no telling how old that thing was. So no spark situation. Go through your checklist. See what's not reading right. Head to your local parts house. Get your parts. The condenser and the pickup are cheap. Just replace them as a pair, as a unit. Right into the bucket. See? If I'd have done it Sunday, y'all wouldn't have been able to see that. torque specs on these things are just like this. Good enough. Make sure you plug everything back in. And then fire it up. Ready to go.